Welcome to Ill-Equipped History, where two best friends do their best. We're already off.
Your mouth just moved so much with nothing coming out of it.
I'm struggling today, guys. We're trying. We're going to tell you a story. And we're going to do our best.
And it's spooky season.
It's spooky. I forgot. Oh my God.
We're doing real well, y'all.
Listen, I've got my tea and I've got my wine. So we're doing okay. I'm gonna get this one.
You know, I just flew here from it was one of my friends, she was celebrating her birthday tonight, so we went to a bar. I wasn't able to stay because I had to come home and record. And everyone was super interested in the podcast. And I was like, okay. But so I've never been to this bar before. I didn't even know it existed. And I was looking at the menu and I was like, this one sounds interesting. And it's in the name of the bar, so I'll give it a try. And when I ordered it, the bartender was like, oh, just so you know, this beer's on special. You get a free beer mug that you get to keep when you order this drink. And I was like, wow, that's so lovely. And now I have a nice, huge beer mug.
I love that so much.
And it was just a fluke. I was like, because I was looking at a few other beers I wanted to try, because every beer is like a local craft of some kind.
Yeah.
I was like, I'll try this one. She's like, guess what? You get a free mug. And it's like a good sized mug. And I had one of those. And then I did order another one of those beers because it was very tasty, but I didn't get a second mug, unfortunately.
You can't collect them all? You can't
I know.
get wasted
I want
with a set?
six of them and I get 6 mugs.
Yeah. I'll pay a little extra for a mug.
I know. I want to see if I could bring one home to Kyle too so we can match. But anyway, so I had 2 beers, and the mug one was it's a little bit bigger than 16 ounces, so it was a good size.
Nice. That's good. Well, we had, guys, I don't typically drink during the week, but book club was last night, so I drank last night, and then they announced today, because there are very bad storms at the time of recording, Hurricane Helene?
I had no idea.
I think it's Helene, is coming through. And, the tail end of it's going to hit Tennessee, and it's going to be just bad storms, really. So they've canceled school tomorrow, so I'm drinking today, too.
Yay!
Yay! I mean, I
literally
still have to work, but...
The people I was with tonight, we all work in schools. Not at the same one, of course, but we all work in schools. And even when we were first getting in, I wonder if school's going to be canceled tomorrow. Oh my God, I hope school's canceled.
Is it canceled for you?
Not yet. Someone read, I guess someone had tweeted my district and was like, you guys should cancel school tomorrow because reasons. So, but as of yet, I think some local districts around us have been canceled, like other counties. But I don't think ours have yet. And it's a little harder for us to close sometimes because we're not as rural as some other districts around us. So, yeah. I get that. We have a lot of, just where we're at, a lot of hills. And they are, the most that they worry about is the bus routes in the mornings and the afternoons with the rain and then the very rural roads and stuff. So I totally get it. Especially now that my kids ride the bus. I'm like, yeah, we better be safe. Yeah, really.
Extra safe. So, are you ready? Are you ready to talk about our first spooky episode of the year?
Let's do it!
Two friends are walking up to the Historic Hales Bar Dam to check in for their scheduled tour and chatting casually.
I can't believe they have floating houses. Isn't it so cool? We should have booked one instead of planning on driving home so late.
Yeah, we should have stayed in one of those damn houses.
You're going to be making those damn jokes all night, aren't you?
You're damn right I am. The pair check in and wait outside the doors of the dam for their guide, and an older man in overalls comes up and speaks to them.
I wouldn't let the foreman see you lingering. Y'all better get back to work.
Oh my gosh, where did you even come from?
Go on now. Go on and get.
The girls look at each other confused, and when they look back, the man was completely gone. Then the guide approached them.
Ready to get the tour started?
Man, that was some actor you have there.
Huh?
You know, the guy in the overalls acting like he works here?
Oh, I'm sorry. We don't have actors here.
Wait, then who was...
And where did he go? Spooky. I do want to make it clear, I don't know if this has ever happened to anybody at Hales Bar Dam, but it do be haunted as fuck. So I made it up. So, Morgan, do you know anything about Hales Bar Dam other than you can see it from I-75 when you drive home?
The only things I know about Hales Bar Dam are the things you told me from your experiences there.
Okay, and we are, audience, going to get into that, but you have to wait till the end.
Wait your turn.
You gotta wait your turn.
Sorry,
Go now,
again, I've had 2 beers, so I'm going to be very loosey-goosey tonight.
It's good. We need it, because this place is so fucked. Okay, so for y'all who don't know where the hell Hales Bar Dam is, I feel like we're going to be inadvertently cussing a lot in this episode.
Probably.
It's like, okay, fun little fact, guys, totally unrelated. It's Chickamauga Dam that's like on the airport exit in Chattanooga, right? Is it Chickamauga Dam? Which dam
I
is
feel like it's Chickamauga.
Okay, so one of the dams down there, when you're going down I-75 south, there, and I don't know if it's still like this, but there for a very long time, the way to get to the Chattanooga airport and that dam were on the same kind of exit, and there for a very long time it said, Damn Chattanooga Airport. And I would giggle every time. I'm like, haha, the damn Chattanooga Airport.
I mean, when there's a dam, you gotta make the damn jokes.
You have to make the damn jokes, and we're gonna be.
This is also super unrelated, but one of my favorite things I've ever bought, it was up in North Carolina, but I went to this little, like, bait store. Mm-hmm. And it was near a dam in North Carolina, and in giant block letters it said "damn koozie" from the damn store. Super unrelated, but
when we went to the Hales Bar Dam, they had a sign outside because spoiler alert, it's a distillery now, and it's called
they always are
Damn Whiskey, or I think it's Damn Whiskey. But the sign was like, have a damn good time. So, all right, back on track. Laser focus. We got this. Where are we? Where in the world is Carmen San Diego? I almost just said San Diego.
Sandy. Where's Sandy? Sandy, can't you see I'm in...
Tell me more. Did he have a car? Oh no! Shit!
You're frozen.
No, Morgan, we lost power. Oh, it's back on. Shit. Hey guys, Emileigh here. So, what y'all just heard is a dramatic representation of my power going out. We had to reschedule and try again when my power came back on. So, what you're going to hear is us redoing it for a second time. Unfortunately, due to some technology errors of unknown origins, my audio doesn't sound the best. We're not sure exactly what happened. All the settings were right, but you know what? Things happen sometimes. So I'm going to, put this down to the curse that y'all will hear about in this episode. So I've done the best I can with the audio that we have, but we honestly didn't have time to re-record it. So we're just going to send it out to you how it is. It's a good episode. It just might sound a little wonky. So sorry about that. Enjoy hearing about the Hales Bar Dam. So this is now the following Monday.
Emileigh has power back. Yay!
We're all fine. Everyone's good. Our hearts and best wishes to those who didn't make out very well.
Yeah,
especially in that
Northeast Tennessee and
Asheville,
Western North Carolina
God, awful.
They're in a rough spot right now. So everyone, let's just keep positive thoughts and vibes to the people who are dealing with this natural disaster.
And if you can help, do what you can. Send supplies, money, time, effort, if possible, if you're in the area and can help. And if you can't, good vibes is always good.
Yeah.
So.
How ironic is it that now this episode is about a dam?
I was just thinking that the other day. And also, it's also very weird that when we'll talk about the Ghost Adventures episode, because I did watch that in preparation for this episode. But while Ghost Adventures was at Hales Bar Dam, there was a tornado that literally tore down one of the entire docks.
Oh my God.
Like while they were there filming. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So like,
this is a bad juju dam. Let's get this over with so we can get it out of here. Dam of the damned.
Okay. So about the dam. Before we talk about the dam itself, we do need to talk about why there was a dam there. And a little place called the Tennessee River Gorge. And the Tennessee River Gorge is kind of, it's, well, not kind of, it is part of the Tennessee River. It is 26 miles, and it is a very hazardous section of the Tennessee River, or at least it was back in the day. And when I say back in the day, I mean pre-1900s. So up until the late 1800s, it was a very hazardous place. There was shoals, which are just very, very shallow areas. There's one area where there's just a rock. It's called Holston Rock, but it's just a rock in the way. And there were permanent whirlpools, and the worst of those being called the Kettle or the Suck. And there's one eddy, and there's also eddies. One of them is called Dead Man's Eddy. Yeah.
That's not foreboding at all.
So you go from, let me read you these names, y'all. Tumbling Shoals to the Holston Rock, and this is going from above Chattanooga down into Chattanooga, because that's where we're at, guys. We're in like southeastern Tennessee, like almost Georgia. So above Chattanooga to below, we're going way past Nickajack, through the mountains. If y'all have ever driven that, you'll know. So you go through Tumbling Shoals to the Holston Rock, to the Kettle, or also known as the Suck, which is a whirlpool the entire width of the river.
Oh my God.
Yeah. The Suck Shoals, the Dead Man's Eddy, the Pot, the Skillet, the Pan, which I believe those are other whirlpools if I'm understanding correctly. And then you have 10 miles of what's known as the Narrows. And that's just...
This is like Southern Fried Fantasy World. Like the way that these parts of the river are named.
Listen, I didn't write them all down, but there is definitely a Raccoon Mountain right close to it. Sand Mountain.
Yeah, I've heard of Raccoon Mountain.
I want to go there. I love raccoons. But...
it's just a mountain of raccoons.
Yes. This... I literally was driving home last night, or was it this morning, after going to the grocery store, and I saw 2 raccoons cross the street in my neighborhood, and I slowed down, and I was like, I could get one of them. I didn't. So I was like, my husband...
No, but you have to get both, because they're friends.
And they were already full grown. I'm like, if you were children, I would snatch the baby raccoons. Okay, anyway, so it's really hard to describe because there's not really a whole lot of documents, at least to something that I could find that better illustrated it, because technically none of these have existed for over 100 years now. Because when the dam was built, it was to tame all of this. But imagine you have 26 miles of impassable river. Like, you cannot.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, the native peoples know best how to navigate it. And you know what they did? They went around.
Avoided it?
They went around the bitch.
Yeah. Well, honestly, like, if you're looking at the map that you have here, I feel like because it's so twisty curvy, like, you are actually traveling a shorter distance if you just walk.
Absolutely. Now, imagine you have thousands of feet tall cliffs on either side of you.
Mm.
So, you know, when you're going, when you're crossing, is it I-40 that goes over Nickajack?
I think so.
Okay. When you cross Nickajack, I mean, you can see the dam from the bridge, but the mountainside, how it's really like cliff.
Oh, it's 24, not 40.
24? Okay. I'm really bad at directions, guys. So,
no,
24.
It's okay.
That's pretty much what you have to deal with. And obviously the natives had these trade paths that went through around the gap best way possible. And the busiest of these is what is called the Great Indian War Trail, or the Great Indian Warriors Path. And that ran from Virginia all the way down to Alabama.
Oh, wow.
So they had just like trade routes, basically. The Cherokee people who lived in that area said that you could see the souls of your ancestors being sucked into this massive pool. And they also believe that if you got too close, your ancestors will like suck you into the whirlpool.
Ooh, spooky.
I hate that so much. Look, so
no, Gam, I don't want to come along.
I don't want to go. So there were some Frenchmen during the French and Indian War that were trying to travel upriver to reach Cherokee County, or not Cherokee County, Cherokee Country. Lord, listen to me. And they intended to establish an outpost, but they literally, after several attempts, just gave up. They're like, I can't make it through.
Yeah,
here.
It's too severe.
Yeah. So years later, people are continuing to use the trade routes because they make sense. And In the early 19th century, European American settlers were in Tennessee, Georgia, Virginia. They wanted to access the markets in the Gulf of Mexico and Caribbean Sea. So they needed a way to get down to the Gulf through the rivers, except there was a bit of an issue known as the Tennessee River Gorge. It was called like Wilson's Gorge or something at the time. But the steamboats were around, in the late 1800s, but they couldn't even get through any of this. So the steamboats pretty much just worked independently. So they would have steamboats above it, and then they would somehow get the goods around and then put them back on another steamboat and send them the rest of the way down.
How inefficient.
I know. And obviously, because commerce, something had to be done about that. So in 1831, the Tennessee legislature established a Board of Internal Improvement. And the new board asked President Andrew Jackson. I am fucking it up. I'm not even drinking tonight, y'all. So President Andrew Jackson to place Colonel Stephen Harriman Long, who was an Army civil engineer in charge of improving the Holston, Tennessee river systems from Knoxville all the way down to the Alabama state line. Stephen Long did a whole lot of things that I will not get into because it was a lot. But one thing he did do was he chose 2 civil engineers and 3 from the Corps of Topographers to go with him to Tennessee. And the lands on the south side of the Tennessee River, from where the Hiwassee opens up to the state line, still belong to the Cherokees. Unfortunately, the colonel never asked permission to conduct any surveys or change any land or anything like that because they wouldn't do that. So they conducted this study, and during the study, one of the civil engineers, Philip R. Van Wyck, who was a graduate of West Point, drowned trying to swim through Boiling Pot, which is one of the hazards.
Tragic.
Yeah. So Colonel Long recommended more than $58,000 in improvements to the river. And that was a whole hell of a lot in 1831.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did make improvements. It took several years. And by 1835, steamboats were able to travel from Alabama all the way up to Knoxville when water levels allowed. So there were improvements, but nothing as drastic as a dam.
Right.
Unfortunately, the now easy passage enabled the steamboats to be used in the Cherokee removal in 1838.
Yeah. Hate that.
I hate it. So, the Valley of the Whirlpool Rapids is what one source called it. Had not been...
It sounds so mystical.
Oh my god. Yeah. Well,
the
it
Valley
was.
of the Whirlpool Rapids.
It was mystical in a bad way.
Oh no!
So this stretch of water hadn't been tamed by the turn of the 20th century. And there is one, before we talk about the dam, you must know about the curse.
Oh no.
The curse. So, legends state that in March of 1775, the Treaty of Sycamore Shoals was being signed, and War Chief Dragging Canoe was fucking pissed that his tribe was trading valuable hunting grounds to European settlers in the Kentucky, Tennessee area. it's pretty much part of this land was where we're talking about now.
Mm-hmm.
He vowed that the land was going to be, quote, dark and bloody land and would be unproductive and uninhabitable for anyone that attempted to settle there.
Damn.
He coisted the land.
He coisted.
He coisted it. So, let's move on to building a dam.
All right.
Dam. Okay, so an engineer from Chattanooga by the name of Josephus Pond Guild offered to raise money to build the dam in exchange for the rights to the dam's electrical output. And this was not just to create electricity, but to improve navigation, because it would end up, they would plan to put the dam below the Narrows, so then it would kind of backwash everything behind it, and it wouldn't be as treacherous. Of course, it would provide electricity to Chattanooga, and it would be the first main river multi-purpose dam that was built on the Tennessee River, because it was a lock and dam combination.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yes. And in 1905, the government approved this plan, and the Chattanooga and Tennessee River Power Company was put together to build Hales Bar Lock and Dam. The construction began in the fall of 1905, so they wasted no time at all. And it was scheduled to be completed in 1909, so just 4 years later. So work begins, and they employ thousands of men. And if y'all are not familiar with this, where they decided to build this dam, you're not familiar with the area, there ain't shit out there. Even now, there's not shit out there. And they established Guild, the town of Guild, now known as Haletown. I still feel like...
I was literally just thinking, like, Haletown. Like, that's where that is,
yeah.
right?
I feel like half the signs still say Guild. But it's also now Haletown. And lads were built nearby to house the workers and their families, along with other work camps on site. So if I had to guess, more families lived in the town. And then if you were just like a single worker, you probably lived in these work camps. They were like buildings, not like living in tents.
Right.
So the village and the dam, they were built on both sides of the river. So what their plan was to build the powerhouse on one side, the lock is on the other side, and then they build to the middle.
Mm-hmm.
They also dug a tunnel 2.5 feet wide, 6.5 feet tall, underneath the dam to allow easy access from side to side. So you don't have to go around and find a bridge or anything.
Or a boat or anything.
Or a boat, yeah. So,
I mean, like, it makes sense, but also, like, a tunnel underneath the dam of the river. Like, that's just so scary.
Would you like to hear a woman's account from when she was a child? Quote, I hated it. Many times there were puddles of water you had to miss and take big steps to walk over or around them. Water would drip on your hair, and it was dark in places where the lights were dim or not lit. It was scary to meet someone you didn't know, and you would almost have to touch them as you passed by.
It's only 2.5 feet wide.
Yeah.
That sounds horrible.
Yeah. It's awful. And I've been in some of those tunnels. It's not fun. It's not fun.
Hate it. Hate. Loathe entirely.
So, as you could imagine, there were issues. with construction. So there were financial troubles. 4 separate contracting firms failed to complete the project because of the difficult foundation conditions.
You don't say.
Yeah. Do you want to know what those difficult foundation conditions were?
I can only imagine.
Limestone. They built a dam on a limestone foundation.
Limestone dissolves in water, dear readers.
Yeah, it's notoriously not stable. Under the surface, they would have caverns that just like went up underneath the water's surface up to 200 feet below water level. Because limestone.
Yeah. There's literally parts of Tennessee where there's just a shit ton of sinkholes because these towns and cities are built on top of limestone.
Yeah.
And like I just said, limestone dissolves in water. So like Emileigh said, it creates these giant pits in the ground where the rock is just not there anymore.
Yeah. Because no one during their little expedition earlier thought,
it's a rock. How? I mean, it's a rock. It's a rock. Like, you can build on rocks.
So, obviously, portions of this limestone would just continually collapse and resettle.
Yeah.
And, like, it would shift the dam's foundation, and then it would cause cracks to form in the dam walls. Dam walls. And by 1910, 5 years, they're already a year late, the only things they had gotten completed was the lock and the powerhouse, which, again, were on opposite sides of the river.
Not helpful.
No. Then, on top of just the rock being a problem, there were floods because we're in a treacherous part of the river. And the worst of these occurred in April 1911 with a, quote, avalanche of water that washed out bridges and damaged train trestles so bad that the trains couldn't run.
Oh my god, I wonder what triggered this,
I don't know.
Wave.
I don't know. I mean, it could have been hard. I didn't see anything else on that topic. It could have been hard rain. It could have been...
I mean, I'm thinking, it's something from, the mountains.
Yeah.
Because mountain water, the Tennessee River, I'm pretty sure comes from the mountains, right? Is that where the source is?
Yeah. I know the Hiwassee comes from the mountains and it dumps into the Tennessee. So I think it does, yeah, probably.
There's no telling.
God, honestly. So originally, the dam was estimated to cost $2 million. The final bill, which we'll talk about, we're not even to the year it was finished, but I do want to, because I mentioned the financial issues a second ago. The final bill was $10 million.
Oh my God. Wait, let me look that up.
Please do.
I'm just looking up 1911 because that's the around about time.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, I think I did 1 million. One more zero.
Oh no.
Almost 350 million. It's 331 million.
Oh my God.
That's let me look up how much 2 million is.
That's a third of a billion.
So 2 million in 1911 is a little over 66. So they literally, by a factor of...
It's times 5.
It's yeah.
5 times the budget.
Yeah, duh. 2 to 10, that's 5. Yeah. I was trying to do 333 to 66.
It's more complicated. I was like, now that's simple math. 2 and 5 is easy. 2 and 10 is easy.
That is easy. Thank you, Emileigh.
You're welcome. I'm here for all your simple multiplication needs.
Thank you.
Okay, so again, there's tragedies when it comes to like building it. But there's also tragedies when it comes to those who are building it.
Right.
So these thousands of men worked 3 shifts around the clock, wet, muddy conditions, without strong safety regulations. I feel like because I got done editing Brushy today and we've done Alcatraz recently, I just feel like safety regulations during this time frame didn't exist.
No.
They just didn't.
They are why we have safety regulations now.
Yeah. And let me regale you. This might get a little gory, guys. Why we have safety regulations now.
Mm-hmm.
A boiler explosion killed someone.
Oh, God.
A falling derrick, which I did have to look up what a derrick was. It is a kind of crane. So
Okay.
I think it's the kind of crane that like is connected to a building, not like independently rolling around.
Yeah.
It crushed 2 people.
Oh, my God.
One guy had his foot tangled up in a rope and was pulled underwater, but he drowned before anyone could save him.
Oh, no.
There were multiple murders and shootings in the camps and or the towns. One guy was hit across the neck with a bench, and that killed him. One guy fell from a rock crusher and was left with multiple injuries, so he did not die.
I'm glad he didn't fall into the rock crusher. Oh my
God.
God.
2 black men were killed by 2 white men because early 1900s. Hate that.
Yeah.
Project engineer. This one's, I don't know, this is not funny because he died, but like out of all the other things, a project engineer died from an ear infection.
Oh no!
Poor guy.
All that moisture. Man, I can't imagine like an ear infection so bad it kills you.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine. Because I used to have ear infections all the time as a kid, and I thought I was going to die, but I was fine. They hurt. They are very painful.
Yeah. But we're not done
man.
yet. Let me regale you a little more. So the body of one guy was found on the railroad tracks. He'd been run over.
Oh no.
Yeah. 3 workers fell into the concrete and was left there.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh no.
Several hundred died during the building of this dam.
I thought you were about to say 700 men are in the walls.
Oh, no, several hundred people died. Dude. I don't know how many people are in the walls.
That's so tragic.
And do you want to hear the most tragic of them all? Listeners, this does include children. So please.
I knew it.
Scooch on over if you don't like this. I'm going to give you a... There were at least 2 kids that died in the tunnels when they... I think one of the tunnels collapsed or became flooded. And it killed them.
That's so sad.
Yeah.
What an awful way to go.
Horrible. And in such a scary place anyway.
Oh, I know.
So, the dam is finally done. Thank God. In 1913, the dam is finally done.
So, it's just 9 years later. It's just fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. The dam itself measures almost half a mile across and 63 feet high. And the lock at the time was the highest single lock lift in the world. So
and I assume it's from like the bottom of where it is, not like above.
Yeah, I believe so.
Level.
Yes.
Okay.
And you can see, if you're looking at the pictures, you can see the lock, they're to the left.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. I've never been through a lock before.
I haven't either. I only ever hear about them when they're talking about, like, canals and stuff.
Yeah. So, even with the best modern technology utilized, the dam still fucking leaked. Because, again, limestone. Like, why did you pursue? Like, why didn't you just realize that the limestone was probably not the best thing to be, like, building on, and then cut your losses and move?
Because, I don't know, that American determination, I guess.
Well, we'll tame this river. Yeah, well,
it's just water and rocks.
Dissolving rocks.
And raging torrents.
So, it leaked. So, do you know what their solution was? Put together a group of people known as the Rag Gang. And they were hired to walk around and plug the leaks for $1 a day.
I was literally imagining, like, a group of people that are just, like, putting their fingers in holes, like cartoon style.
Well,
we plugged the hole!
When I tell you what they were using, it's gonna go back to that feeling. Because they used whatever the fuck they could find. And that included asphalt, hay bales, mattresses, blankets, and even once, a truckload of corsets.
I feel like a lot of those things aren't very, like, absorbent or structurally strong.
None of them are. Like, it's the asphalt.
You know what's a good idea to plug this hole up? Some hay. We got plenty of hay. If you have a crevice big enough for a mattress to fit through, you got way bigger problems. Oh my God.
Y'all ever thought about just taking that truckload of fancy corsets?
These ladies don't need them corsets. Let's just plug them up in these holes here.
So ridiculous.
But we gotta make sure the dam looks good, y'all.
Yeah, that's a perfect.
Give it a bit of waste.
That's a pretty dam you got there.
Goodness gracious.
By 1931, a study showed that the dam continued to leak at a rate of 1,000 cubic feet per second.
That is not a good dam, y'all. It is failing at the one thing it was designed to do. This is awful.
Like, that is not a dam. That is like a waterfall's coming and you've put your hand up to try to block it. Like, that is nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the Tennessee Valley Authority Act, 1933, I will be calling it the TVA or the TVA Act. It was a piece of legislation.
It's just some good old here legislation here. Yeehaw!
Yeah.
We love those alphabet companies.
And you know who put it in? Franklin D. Roosevelt. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, with his New Deal.
I'll tell you what. So, for real though, the TVA was a federal corporation. It was signed in, of course, by Franklin D. Roosevelt, like I said, on May 18th of 1933. And the TVA's goals were to improve the quality of life. The TVA, it was created to help the people in the Tennessee Valley become healthier, more prosperous, and more productive. Their goals was to control flooding. So the TVA actually built more dams to control the flooding in the Tennessee River system and downstream on the Ohio and Mississippi rivers as well.
Yeah, we got a lot of dams, y'all.
A shitload of dams. With the dams, it helped the navigation of the Tennessee River. This is really what tamed the river into what we know it today. And then it provided electricity. They replanted forests in the Tennessee Valley, and they helped develop the region. The TVA still has a stronghold in the Tennessee Valley. One of my good friend's husbands works for the TVA, and they work hard. I mean, every time, whether what caused this to go, I bet he was working his butt off for the whole 4 days. That
I'm sure.
Yeah. So, hats off to them. But the passing of the TVA Act in 1933 threatened to take control of the dam away from TEPCO. And TEPCO is remember when I said the Chattanooga and Tennessee company earlier? Mm-hmm. Over the years, they formed into TEPCO, which is the Tennessee Electrical Power Company. Mm. So, TEPCO challenged the constitutionality of the TVA Act in federal court because their assets were getting ripped away from them.
Right.
And in 1939, the U.S. Supreme Court handed down their decision in favor of TVA. So only a few months later, TEPCO was forced to sell most of their assets, and that included Hales Bar Dam, to the TVA for $78 million. So not just Hales Bar, but as a group, Hales Bar was included in that for $78 million. I feel like they
Let me see.
Did okay.
Let me see if...
That was in 1939. I wonder if TEPCO still has anything.
Oh, it's over $1 billion.
Oh, they got $1 billion?
Yeah, and it cost them, at least by the time it finished construction, not including all the additional costs after that, $330 million. And $78 million in 1939 is $1,766 million.
What the fuck?
Almost 500,000. So, I think they definitely, it doesn't sound like it was $1 billion project, so they did make it out in the black, but probably not what they were expecting over time.
Yeah, I think they still made it out okay. Okay, so this says Tennessee Electric Power Company, TEPCO, was the largest private sector electrical power monopoly. So no, they are no longer a thing.
Gotcha.
Yes. So they took the money and fucking ran, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So after they acquired the Hales Bar Dam, the TVA made a number of improvements over the years, such as constructing what they called a curtain across the face of the dam to stop the leaks. And by 1943, it was leak-free.
It's amazing what you can do with federal funds and engineers and resources.
And when you care.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're not trying to shove mattresses in there.
Yeah.
They also raised the reservoir. God, why can I not talk today? 4 feet to permit the navigation channel to be dredged. So they're doing more maintenance work on it. But by the late 1950s, the dam was leaking again. And it seemed that the leaks were all interconnected. So there was a good chance it would just break apart on its own whenever it wanted to.
Great.
Yep. Love that. So finally, in the 1960s, the TVA was like, this is not good. Because by then, you remember how I said it was 1,000 cubic feet per second earlier?
Mm-hmm.
By then, it's 2,000 cubic feet per second that it's leaking. I mean, you have a tank of water and it's about to bust on you and you're just trying to hold it together. It's not.
You know what they need, Emileigh? Flex tape.
I was going to say chewing gum. Yours is better. Maybe something. Oh my God. How would you feel if you went and toured a dam for like a school field trip, and you have like an engineer in the whole like hard hat and the outfit, and he's like flex taping a fucking dam? How would you feel?
I'd be like, can I leave now?
Get me out of here.
Far away, upriver.
I want to go home. So, finally, in the 1960s, they fucking had enough. They were tapped out. And they decided that it was time to replace Hales Bar Dam. So 6.5 miles downstream, the Hales Bar, they built the Nickajack Dam.
Gotcha.
And the name Nickajack comes from the former Cherokee village and cave that got flooded by the new dam. So I see you honoring them, but also, damn.
Yeah.
Damn. Savage. Oh my God.
Sorry we flooded your, like, native lands and stuff.
We named it after you, though.
Well, we named it after you.
I will never look at Nickajack the same.
Yeah.
So, and Hales Bar Dam was demolished. And when I say demolished, they tore down the dam part in the middle. You can still see the lock. We actually, when we were there, we drove our boat through it, which was really interesting. So I guess technically I have been through a lock, just not a functioning one. Because they don't have the doors or anything. It's just like a concrete barrier, 2 concrete barriers. You can just drive through it if you want to. And
Gotcha.
the powerhouse is still standing. So the first 2 levels of the powerhouse are now underwater because when they built it downriver, the water rose to meet where it sits now. So the first 2 levels are now underwater. One of the original turbines is still down there, but is now underwater because it was in the first story. And there's a few like big motors and fans and some storage lockers and other random things. But for the most part, it just got gutted and everything that could be salvaged got taken to the Nickajack Dam to save money, of course. One of the sources said, quote, "It's a concrete reminder of days gone by, itself a ghost, whether any inhabit it now or not." Ew. And bitch, they do. They do be doing the inhabiting, because I've been there. And I want y'all to know that we did not go there with the intention of ghost hunting. It was my husband and I and a huge group of our friends. I think it was for someone's birthday. I think maybe Audra's birthday. Shout out Audra. Hi, love you.
Hi, Audra.
Hi, Aud. So we went there for the weekend because it's a marina now. Like there's a marina here. In the past couple years, they've turned it into a distillery. The powerhouse is a distillery. They used to just store boats in there.
What is with all of these like old buildings in Tennessee just becoming distilleries? Like what? This is a recurring pattern.
Old shit makes
that we see.
Drink. I don't know.
I guess. People are like, oh shit, this is fucking old. I need some whiskey or something.
You know what would go really good here? A distillery or a brewery. And listen, we're not complaining at all. We just think it's weird.
It's an interesting pattern that I've noticed.
But what's really cool is that like you've got the marina and they've got they don't have a restaurant per se like on there. But there's like other restaurants in the town of Haletown or Guild. But then you have like this distillery and they have like a gift shop and stuff. And I wear my t-shirt I got from there all the time. It says a damn good time. It's got skeletons. So they're drinking.
Skeletons.
That's what skeletons do. I did a lot of arm movements, guys.
Yeah, she was like on full arm movements.
I was doing like the spooky, scary skeletons.
Hand flapping motion.
Yeah, my daughter loves that music video, so we watch it a lot. She's spooky.
She's very spooky.
Yeah.
And a little scary.
Absolutely. Okay, so some things that could potentially lead to the hauntings. Obviously including everything we just talked about.
Absolutely.
But because of the nature of dams, nearby established towns and communities were flooded. And that included cemeteries.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, the decision was made to flood the area below the dam. And that uncovered an entire city, including the cemetery known as Long Cemetery. None of the bodies were removed. None of them.
Why would they do that?
Because
I've heard of, like, other, like when, like, I think Lake Lanier, for example, was being built in Georgia. They were supposed to, like replace, like, what word am I trying to think of? They're supposed to, like, relocate the bodies in the cemetery and stuff. I don't think they all were, but they were supposed to.
Supposed to. But no, they didn't. And I think there's a couple. I think Norris Lake was like that as well, where they just didn't. I don't know. They're like, who's going to tell on us? The dead?
Well.
Do you want to know what the craziest part about this is? Up until the late 90s, you could still see 3 of the headstones peeking out of the water 70 yards from the bank. And that's the picture.
I don't like that.
And
that is spooky shit right there.
And speaking of cemeteries, in the late 1960s, the dam suffered a catastrophic failure. And that flooded the downstream area so bad, it disrupted hundreds of graves, mainly those of children that died in the Spanish flu epidemic in 1920.
No. Oh my God, no.
Mm-hmm. Obviously, I literally wrote all the deaths during the construction, obviously. And then remember when I said that there were 2 black men killed by 2 white men?
Yeah.
That was caused by a riot. There were, this says 3, so it's either 2 or 3 conflicting sources. There was a rumor going around that a black man was going to be promoted to a position where he would be over white workers. And the guy who was rumored to be promoted, Charles Lee, was beaten up by white men because of this. And then the black workers in the community fought back. And this was in one of the work camps. Building 2, which is still standing, was built directly on top of where this camp was. Like, I don't think the general public can go into Building 2. The show Kindred Spirits did go into Building 2. And they got some evidence, some interesting evidence. I don't want to take too much from those shows. Mm-hmm. But I watched them to get the vibe right again. So I highly suggest going and watching. I know Kindred Spirits. She has a podcast on this. She also has the TV show episode, and then Ghost Adventures did as well. So,
what a tragic situation.
It's just, it's horrible. Every corner of this dam is just horrible. And I remember walking through this guided tour because we just decided on a whim we'll do a tour. So we ended up doing a tour of the dam, but I don't think, like, I was expecting haunted tour as in we're going to tell ghost stories. But no, it was way more than that. And we're walking through and they're telling us about just the working conditions after the dam was built. And it was to the point where no safety railings or guards or anything. to prevent you from going into certain areas. And it's one of those where, like, you step back too far, you're dead because you're getting electrocuted. Like, you just step into the wrong spot and you're dead. And people
like in modern times or like back then?
Back then.
Okay.
Then. So, just all the people that just died working there from negligence because safety standards were not a thing.
Yeah. That's very bleak,
for
sure.
So, what exactly is going on when people say that it is haunted? So, some people report the spirits of the Cherokee natives, including Chief Dragon Canoe. I thought it was really interesting. Both TV shows mentioned, and two different people talking, because they were there like 5 years apart from each other. They both talked about hearing chanting inside the building. A person's called Chris. Who Chris is, I don't quite know. But he could be anyone. So apparently there was a young girl named Linda who was murdered.
Oh no.
People have seen apparitions from school children who haunt the tunnels.
Hate that.
Yeah.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Where are the tunnels if the tunnel to the dam was destroyed and the first two floors were flooded?
There are parts of the tunnels that are not flooded. I don't know how to exactly describe this. So it's almost like the part that's flooded is like over here, and then there's like a lower part elsewhere that's not on the like water side, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So the tunnels, I do not believe they don't go all the way across anymore, obviously, but there are remnants of the tunnels that go more ground side.
Okay.
People have been pushed down the stairs. Shadow people in the tunnels. People getting scratched, choked, etc. on the second floor. People's names being called. So, like, you be there and somebody go, Morgan.
No, absolutely not.
People have heard, like, their whistles being mimicked. And that is what I got from people being interviewed on the TV shows and some other sources as well. So, the moment you've all been waiting for. What I saw at the dam. Okay, so on the catwalk, if you watch the Ghost Adventures episode, there is you go to the very end of the dam on the water side, you walk up the stairs, and there is a door that would, in theory, imagine the dam is still there, opens up, you can, like, get on the dam part. Obviously that door is closed now because it leads to nothing but water.
Yeah.
On the Ghost Adventures episode, they caught, and again, if you listen to tomorrow's episode, you'll hear our stance on technology and stuff like that. And tomorrow's episode is the bonus episode, so you don't want to miss that one. But,
yes.
Do I 100% believe everything that goes on TV shows? No, I'm regurgitating what I saw. There have been accounts on that catwalk area, what they call it, where people have been touched and such. And we went up there. Everything was great. I even found some pictures of Lou and her husband Ryan up there, like, smiling and stuff. My husband went up there, and he said it felt like somebody put a hand on his shoulder and was pushing his shoulder down. My husband is the biggest skeptic of all time. He thinks
I was about to say, like, he is not, like, into the ghosty stuff, like,
no,
very much. I wouldn't say, like, he flat out doesn't believe, but, like, as you said, like, the biggest skeptic.
He's
like,
a very big skeptic.
Is a very scientific person.
Yes. And he said he walked down the stairs, got off the catwalk, and felt perfectly fine. No lingering anything. And this is exactly where Aaron in the Ghost Adventure show, something had grabbed his vest, and then you could see like a little person walking on the thermal camera. Literally the point. So on the third floor, the tour guide and I were like chatting it up because I'm a loser and wanted to talk to the tour guide. And it's like, I have questions. So we're talking, and everybody else is in another part of the building, and we're talking. And on the next level up, where literally no one could even get to because you have to get a ladder to get up to that part, we heard footsteps. And it wasn't echoey. It was like step, 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 step. Like they were up there. Yeah. This is in the middle of the day, Morgan. This is not at night. So, in the lowest level...
How did the tour guide react to that?
He looked at me, and I looked at him, and I went, is there anybody up there? And he went, nah, no one's been up there since last night. Because they stored some things up there. And he was like, nope, nobody's up there. And I went, you heard that, right? And he was like, I did. Hate that.
Do not like.
So while on the lowest level where the tunnels are, did not think we were going to get to go down there, but we did. We were walking around, and the guide, he was, okay, part of this, of what we were doing could be debunked. Like, there's balls bouncing around all over the place. Could he throw them when no one's looking because we're in a dark tunnel? Yeah, he probably was. He's here to engage, right? So, Nancy, he asked, we got to the very end where it was a dead end. So, the only way out is to go back the way we came. And the guide was like, does anybody want to walk down the tunnel alone? And my very brave, wonderful mother-in-law volunteered. And she walked down this dark tunnel by herself. And she got to the end of the tunnel, and she turned around, and she very slowly started walking back towards us. I mean, she was just kind of like chilling, arms to her side, whatever. Morgan, you're going to die, and I'm so sorry. So she felt a child's hand grab her hand. Like a child holding her hand. And then her smartwatch lit up and did some weird thing that it had never done before and has not done since. And we were all like, oh my God, what was that light? And she was like, it's my watch for some reason. And then the child went away, and she was continuing to walk towards us during all of this. And then an entire group of 10 people, Morgan, like it was like 10 of us, saw a shadow walking behind her, following her, Morgan.
Oh no.
And she like boot scoot and boogied back to us, and we were all like, I mean, I know we all saw it because we were all screaming like, what is that? What the fuck is that? And then it disappeared. There were no light sources around that could cause the shadow. I mean, you'd know if there was like a projector making it. No, it was like darker than the darkness around it. 6 feet tall and walking behind her.
I just got like a whole body convulsion. So
then we all panicked for a while. And then we have to leave the same way we...
No! Where the Shadow Man just was! No!
So Nancy and I, we get to the very back of the group. Because we're chatting again, and we just wanted to, we want to chat. We were talking about what I saw compared to what she was feeling, and she was telling me about the child grabbing her hand because she hadn't told anybody else yet.
Oh, I wonder if the child was scared.
We both kind of agreed that it was like either the child was scared or you need to get out of here. You don't belong here. You're like my grandma.
Yeah.
warning her. Because she felt nothing but calm from that. But the thing behind her, she was like, oh my God. So we're walking. The group is still, we're being left behind because we're like talking. And we're not quite out of the tunnels yet. We were about to walk up the stairs. And Nancy has never done this before, but she, not only did she like interrupt what I was saying very abruptly, she was like, we have to go now. And she basically pushed my ass up the stairs and was like, go, 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 go. Like, I have never seen her panic in my life.
She's pretty easygoing. Like, I don't feel like she's ever, like, in a rush for anything.
No. And what she said she felt like was that whatever that was came and, like, swooped at her back. Ooh. And, like, she, like, felt it. And then she was like, get GTFO. Get out of here. So then we scurried out.
Oh, that's so scary.
And I think that was the last experience that we had. There were other things, like you're not supposed to touch the kids' toys, because apparently they have like a table of toys down there and stuff like that. Aww. All of that, I don't know if it, the validity of stuff like that, but I know what I saw and I don't like it.
Oh,
I know, I feel so bad for the kids.
Yeah, that reminded me of in Mary King's Close in Edinburgh. There's this room for a ghost child named Annie, I think, and it's just full of toys. It's like a shrine almost of just like 400 toys, and you're not allowed to touch, and you actually can't even take pictures inside the room. And I went in the room. Sorry, I'm holding my cup and like it's rattling around. I went very briefly in because I didn't feel like the entire time we were walking through the close, I didn't feel scared or anything. I was a little creeped out because it's literally like part of Edinburgh that's buried underneath the top of like the town, like the streets. So it's completely underground. And there's mannequins and I hate mannequins. But yeah, it was a whole little like shrine and stuff of toys for little Annie.
Oh, poor Annie.
I know.
So, yeah, that's all I have. It's spooky.
What a way to end it! Oh my God!
You're welcome.
I'm so scared.
And then, you guys, if you're listening to this on Thursday, you get to be scared tomorrow. Because the bonus episode is coming out, and it's free for everyone this month.
And it was so scary, you guys. Way scarier than Bell Witch last year.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't cry at Bell Witch. I almost did, but I didn't. No. I cried at the location we went to for this year's bonus episode.
And you almost cried when we were recording it again.
I about vomited when we were recording it. I've never felt like that, the revulsion that your body just like, I can't even respond to it. But like there's this one part, and listeners, y'all will hear it towards the end when we're going through like our recordings, and Emily played something and I literally about puked all over myself. Like I literally couldn't talk.
I thought the audio went out on our recording, but it's only because she was opening and closing her mouth with a guppy and nothing was coming out of her mouth.
Because my soul had left my body.
Yeah, she was astral projecting right now, so she didn't have to feel feelings about what she just heard.
I was a husk. And then when I came back and like slammed back into my body, I like was like, shaking and like tearing up and convulsing, and I was like dry heaving. Like it was a lot.
Oh my God, it was so much.
It was a lot.
It was terrifying. I think I've listened to it enough now where like I'm a little numb to it, but every time I hear it, I'd like jerk a little bit.
Every time I think about it, like I get like that knot in your throat.
Yeah.
That happens when your body's about to puke.
Yeah. Just know that was the scariest moment of the night. So if you can get past that, you're good. And also, We wouldn't blame you if you needed to split this up into 2 listening sessions, because it's 3 hours.
Yeah. So
Yeah, but
maybe like you listen to the history of it first, and then you give yourself a couple days, enjoy the weekend, and then come back and you listen to how scary it was.
yeah, don't listen in the dark.
No, don't do it.
Also, don't even listen to the history in the dark, because it is so bleak. It
is a
as
bleak
as this, but worse.
Yeah. The thing about October is, and like spooky season's so fun, but like I feel like our topics are always like, oh.
Yeah.
It's really the time of year where we can talk about the really dark shit that doesn't really fit in the rest of the year.
And then November, we're like, welcome back to Happy Ill-Equipped History.
Now it's time for the warm cozies for the holidays.
And we got to hit all the, like, we got to be spooky and then thankful and then merry. So we got to hit it all.
Yes.
Also, before I forget, if you join the Patreon in October, you will get a bonus little gift from us. It's a little something for a thank you. If you were already a patron, you're getting the bonus little thing anyway. So thank you. Because you guys giving us money and supporting us on Patreon is how we get to do fun things like this.
Yeah. And we finally got to a point where we could use our Patreon funds to pay for the patron little gift.
Yeah!
And we didn't have to use our own money!
Yay! Listen, we were going to use our own money anyway, but like this feels good that like we made money to give it back to you guys. And that's like the whole like gist of what we want to do is we want to give it back to you guys. We're happy.
I'm so excited. Emileigh designed it, and it's so cute. I can't wait to get one.
I'm excited, too.
She did, like, a whole little shoulder dance.
I've been very wiggly today.
You were very wiggly in our movie, more than usual.
Yeah, I know. I just can't. I can't sit still. It's like talking about scary things. I gotta wiggle. So.
We all have our coping mechanisms.
Yeah. Mine's being obnoxious.
Oh boy, the way you said that and like had the little like superstar moment.
Jazz hands. Oh my god.
Yay, I'm annoying.
So let's let these people go.
Let's do socials first. Emileigh's like, let's be done.
Okay, I'm done now. Take my headphones off. Okay. If you like this, which you should. If you got this far. But you can find us on Facebook group and page.
Ill-Equipped History podcast group and page.
Instagram
at Ill-Equipped History.
Email us at Gmail.
Ill-equippedhistory@gmail.com.
TikTok
at Ill-Equipped History.
And Patreon.
Patreon.com/Ill-Equippedhistory.
And if you go to the dam, drink some whiskey for me.
Don't go into the tunnel.
Don't go into the tunnel. And if you build a dam, make sure it's not a limestone foundation.
That is step 1.
Literally. Assess the surroundings. Step 1. Like, bruh drowned. Bro drowned trying to assess the surroundings, and you took everything that they found and just threw it out the window. Like, what the fuck?
There are a lot of very, very hard lessons learned.
Yeah.
Here,
Yeah.
tragically.
Number 1, listen to the natives. Go around.
Yes.
Yep. Okay.
Always listen to the natives. They know what the fuck they're talking about.
Truly. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.